Okay, fourth exercise that I wish I had done during the summer more is the kettlebell swing. So obviously, if you don't have a kettlebell, go buy one and then come back and watch the video. Kettlebell swing, just quick demonstration. Is that explosive hinging movement from the hip. Why is it so beneficial? In mountain biking, we need to work on that hinging movement. In everyday life, we need to have hinging movement in order to not bust our discs by going like this when we're going down, when we're reaching. Like proper back position comes from this movement of the hips. So I did realize that I was lacking a lot of this training when I got to a bike park that had lift access and we were just going down for a long time. And during the day, I didn't quite feel it, but it's at the end of the day, I got the cramps in the hamstrings, and it made me realize, oh my God, we are using so much hamstring strength in mountain biking just from this position here. We're basically isometrically loading, and then we need to be reactive, adapt to the terrain, move, balance, but that's basically your position right here. So you need to have good strength in the hamstrings, which is where this guy comes into play, because this loaded explosion hinging movement is just so beneficial, and it's different from a deadlift. Deadlift is just picking off the floor up and down. The research shows that in the kettlebell swing, there is a lot more shearing forces on your back from the dynamic nature of the movement. And those shearing forces really stimulate much more contraction from your core than any exercise that they could find. And it's been shown in research with the, how could we call him? The instigator, the pioneer, Pavel Tsatsouline, which is a Russian guy that came to America, introduced kettlebells to CrossFit gyms, and then kettlebells went popular through the CrossFit gyms. But there's an entire certification system in the training with kettlebells, different schools now. But yeah, the idea is that Pavel was went into labs to test out, okay, muscle activation and everything. And they found out, like the, can't remember the researcher's name, back specialist, Stuart McGill. Stuart McGill did research and connected a bunch of sensors on Pavel's muscles. And they realized like he had one of the strongest back tested ever in the lab. Not so surprisingly, the kettlebell is his main training tool, also with body weight exercises and such, but kettlebell is a big part of it. So kettlebell swings, very beneficial. We could talk, I could talk about it for a very long time. But less talking, more moving. So in doing a proper kettlebell swing, you want to have a proper hip hinge, which comes from really hinging at your hips. So if, do I have a stick? I want a stick. I am looking for a stick right now. I do have a stick. Business of sticks. We need the business of sticks. So this is a simple feedback tool to help you feel the position of, are you really hinging at the hips or are you kind of cheating with your torso? So stick to the backside. I want to have 3 points of contact. So my sacrum down here, there's a hole for the lordosis in the lower back, contact point at the thoracic spine, lordosis of the neck curvature, and then contact point at the head. So keeping these 3 contact points without being tight in my shoulders as much as I can, because some people have more shoulder restrictions than others, but just to feel the exercise, from here, keeping those 3 contact points, I'm going to push my hips back while maintaining the contact points mentioned. So if at any point I lose contact, that means I'm not hinging from my hips, I'm moving from my spine. Spine stays neutral, and I'm going through the hips. So that's your step 1 to a proper kettlebell swing. Step 2 would be to just pick the kettlebell up in the same fashion. So having the kettlebell in between your feet will help. From here, think about those 3 points of contacts, going back with the hips, and picking up, coming back to neutral position. So that is also a deadlift. But to make it a kettlebell swing, we need to add momentum to it. So from the top position, that's where we're going to start to hinge the pendulum. So here, that's where the pendulum swing is going to start from. And the more you feel the timing, the more you feel the connection, the more you can pop it up and get it to, let's say, face eye height. I wouldn't go any higher. I know you've probably seen videos like CrossFit athletes go all the way up. Kind of don't appreciate as much this variation of going all the way up with both hands because first, shoulder mobility, people cheat with thoracic mobility, and the goal of going up is just to have a clear clearing of the ear for judges to count reps. That's basically what it was in the beginning. If I want to go up, I would rather go with the movement that's called a snatch instead of just 2 hand swinging going all the way up. So that's that. So kettlebell swing, we just stick to eye height and then back down, eye height and back down. The triangle of operation is really going through, like, the idea is to stay close to your power center. So glutes are very strong in extension movement. So we want to have the weight as close as we can to the pelvis area here. Because if I go lower down here in my swing, then I lose that connection to my weight. Whereas here, my hands are going to be in contact and I'm going to be leaning against my forearms to then push the weight. That's obviously an integration to be had as you're building up your coordination for the movement. But like I said, like working very specific coordination patterns in a controlled environment will definitely help you when you're going out in the trails, on a bike, trying to deal with everything that's going on at the same time. So again, kettlebell swing, when you're fairly comfortable, you can start to pop it already into a swing instead of lifting it up and starting to swing. So pop it from here, proper back position, thinking about my 3 points of contacts, getting those hips far to back, and then starting those swings from there. So that's the kettlebell swing that I wish I had done more. Obviously, there's much more detail to it. Eventually I can get into specific videos about that, but for now, quick presentation, discovery of the exercises. Grab yourself a kettlebell, it's really worth it. If not, still can go by doing body weight exercises, but really kettlebells, simple weight, very practical for many different variations, exercises. Lower body, upper body, general, cardiovascular, because since it's a explosive, repetitive endurance move, is really, really, really good for cardio. And explosive power, reactive power, which is a lot of what we need when we start to get into adaptation to the demands of our sport, which is very good. Let's move on to our last exercise.